Hey everybody, I'm the Bard's Kiss.
And I'm the Cup of Fun.
And today, we're making Nomato sauce. I say Nomato sauce because I myself have a tomato allergy. So that means I can't have typical tomato sauce. And Andreas here absolutely loves tomato sauce.
Tomatoes are great.
So even since the day we met, he's been kind of trying to make Nomato sauce.
Since college, we met in college, I've had this quest
to make tomato sauce.
A sauce that's kind of like a tomato. And I've had a few iterations over the years, and I think we're close.
We're getting there.
For a few new advancements I found out about recently, I think we're somewhere.
So today we really want to focus on the texture. We kind of want to work on color a little bit, and taste. So yeah, we're doing a little bit of a kitchen testing today, and
it's gonna be fun.
Do this.
So before we begin, there are three major components of a tomato. Five major components of a tomato. You have the taste. Tomatoes taste like tomatoes.
They do. They have a very unique taste.
You have the texture. Kind of the squishy, kind of almost granularly. If you have a crushed tomato, there's like a pulpiness to it. Yeah.
It's weird. It's an interesting texture.
You have an acidity. Tomatoes are acidic. There's a sweetness to tomatoes as well. And then there's this umami, savory goodness caused by glutamate content. We're going to try to recreate all of that in a sauce form.
So trying to mock the flavor. Color-ish. Color we're not terribly worried about, but we do want to try to mock it a little bit.
If it looks like tomatoes, we'll be happy. Alright, so today we have 3 recipes we're trying out, but they all start with kind of the same base. So for that base, we need stuff. First thing first, we need to cook stuff. We need a oil, a fat, to transfer heat and be delicious.
Usually, we would be using olive oil, but I'm allergic to olives, fun fact. So we'll be using butter instead, but you can also use vegetable oil or any other, whatever oil of your choice.
So first up, melt this butter. Alright, butter is melted.
So first, we're gonna add all of our, what you call aromatics. That's gonna be our onion.
That's sizzle. Now, because we're making 3 batches, we're making a times 3 batch, and we're going to divide it up at the end. So this is 3 onions, but normally you would add 1. There'll be a recipe down below, the place where recipes go.
Fennel, and the mushrooms.
It's a nice full pot, but don't worry, it's going to cook down. Also garlic.
That's a lot of garlic.
3 tablespoons.
Just use a little head, it's fine.
Garlic. Just let it all cook down and get all caramelized and delicious. Alright guys, we're back. It's nice and caramelized and cooked down to nothing. See how that beautiful fond on the bottom of the pan? It might look burnt. That's not burnt, that's fond.
That's flavor. That's what that is.
So now we're going to deglaze this bad boy. We have our red wine vinegar. And that normally works better, but we're not on the stove right now. We have some lemon juice.
Might have to put it back on the stove to get the fond up.
And some soy sauce. It's going to take part to add the umami, and the vinegars are going to add that acidity that tomatoes generally have. Get back on the stove, we get deglazed properly.
Alright, so we got all of our fond up. Now you can see it has
Look at that.
A lot of the color of the fond. Oh, that's just flavor. It'd be great.
Alright, so normally we would have added celery also at the beginning, but we forgot to buy celery. So yeah, 2 stalks of celery. And now we're going to add some beautiful carrots, but Ashley's allergic to carrots. So instead we're adding parsnips, but you could use carrots or just use parsnips because they're both delicious. Boom. And now that that's in there, we're going to stir her up and then divide it into 3, because here's where the paths diverge. Alright, so we made a mistake. There's some other things that go in the everything that we forgot to add to the everything. So now they're back in this bowl. We're going to add them. So Ashley, what do we have here in this bowl of everything mixed?
We have basil, oregano, red pepper, MSG, and I think that's
MSG.
An MSG. Again, we're trying to replace that umami-ness, and MSG really helps out with that.
Yep. So the thing in tomatoes that makes it umami is glutamate. MSG is monosodium glutamate. So a lot of people are uneasy about MSG. Don't be. It's fine. Those articles were lies. MSG's fine for your health.
It's naturally occurring in many foods, including tomatoes.
Me and Ashton graduated from culinary school. It's fine. Use it. It's delicious. Put it in your eggs. It's great in eggs. And our next substitute for tomato is tamarind paste. So 2 tablespoons of that bad boy.
Now, why are we adding the tamarind paste?
It helps create some of that savory richness. There's also a bitterness. From my experience, in my times with tomatoes, this is the thing that tastes most like tomato without actually being tomato.
Well, you can't usually purchase this in your local grocery store or anything, but you can get it on Amazon easy, so.
Most of the time it also comes in like a dry paste form. We got it in this little white tub. I took the label off of it because it was peeling and bothered me. But this is already hydrated. Normally you need to mix it with water to hydrate it. Tamarind paste. Good stuff. It is your friend in the quest against tomatoes. So now we're going to mix this up, redivide it, and then go into our tangents. Alright, first substitute. Number 1. We're going to take our base we have here. We're going to add bell peppers to it. This is the only one that actually contains a nightshade. All the other 2 are nightshade free, because most tomato allergies stem from nightshades, but not Ashland's, we guess.
So far.
So this is my first attempt, was bell pepper based, back before I learned about the world of nightshades. And yeah, it gives you the color. When you blend up these bell peppers, it gives you a similar texture to tomato. That's me our first one.
There's also the nice parsnips that will help with the texture as well.
We're going to add also a 1/2 cup of water. Just get some liquid in there. We're going to let that bad boy simmer until parsnips are soft and ready to blend. Okay, variation number 2. This time we're going to use sweet potatoes as our base. This adds a little sweetness and will blend well. And to get a little bit more color and a little bit more bulk in there, some nice red beets. We're hoping the mixture of, we haven't tested this one yet, the mixture of the beets and the orange sweet potatoes will make a reddish color. This one also gets the water. We're going to let that guy simmer down as well. Alright, and finally variation number 3, the one I'm most excited for. We're going to start off with beets, just like the other one, to get some color. We're going to add our water. And then we'll let this simmer, and then we'll come back to it later to add the other ingredients, because they don't need to cook as long. Alright guys, time has passed. We cook them down until the point where the root vegetables are soft and ready to blend. In that time, Ashland's brother, who's also allergic to tomatoes, walked by and said it smelled like tomatoes without the suffocation. So that's a good sign. I have a little water here on the side. Have a little water right here on the side. In case they boil down a bit too much. You can see this is kind of dry. So I'm going to add a little warm water to this just for blending purposes. And I have my trusty immersion blender here. Got it at a garage sale for $1. It's a good purchase. So we're just going to blend it all up, and I'm going to mute the audio so you don't go deaf. See here I'm having some issues. We're going to add a little bit more water. Alright, so there we go. Nice and blended. That's sauce number 1. This is the only one that contains nightshades, so that's cool. You see it's still a little orange.
It's better than I thought it would be, though. I thought it would be brown.
A little bit more bell pepper could fix that. A larger one, less parsnip, making it orange. I don't know. But hey.
Not so bad, though.
There's sauce number 2. Nice and hot and steamy still.
This is the sweet potato and beet mixture that we have.
Just like the other one, it dried up a bit. So I think maybe a 1.5 cups to 2 cups of water might be needed to start with. So we get that nice and moist and blend away. Alright, we're nice and blended up. It's a tad pink, but that looks like tomato sauce.
It kind of looks like tomato sauce. Maybe if the tomatoes, you used fresh tomatoes and maybe they were out of season. It doesn't look too bad, though.
Yeah. So there we go. Finally, this mystery right here. Batch number 3. This is just beets and parsnips. First things first, nice and dry. We're going to add more water and blend her up. Okay. So nice and blended up. Just beets, parsnips, and our base. Parsnips are part of the base. And now for the last touch I'm excited the most for. It's going to be some nice canned pumpkin. It already looks pretty red. Still kind of pink though. Hopefully a little orange balances it out. I'm going to use about half the can of pumpkin. Half a 15-ounce can of pumpkin. Incorporate that back in there. And now that the pumpkin's all mixed in, that looks a lot like tomatoes.
It does.
It has the right texture and look to it. Now we're going to get these guys side by side and do some taste testing. So we were forgetful people. We added salt and pepper, and now it's time to taste. You ready, Ashlyn?
Yeah.
While mixing in salt and pepper, Ashlyn subconsciously was trying to avoid it splashing on her because she didn't want a reaction.
My brain was like, be careful, man, don't get any of this on you.
But
your skin
they're
break
not
out.
tomatoes. We have our lovely tasting spoons. They're cats. We're going to start with number 1. It's the bell pepper. Our base plus bell peppers. That's it. So Ashlyn, if you would. Ding. It's not bad.
It's pretty tasty. Andres, I last time I had tomatoes, I was very small. I don't remember what they taste like per se. Andres has more experience with tomatoes as of late, so.
I think it's really good tomato sauce. It's a bit bell peppery. It has like that bell peppery taste, that like sweetness. Maybe if we were to is the word concasse? No, if we were to roast them and take the skin off them, so we didn't have the skins of the bell peppers, it might have less of that kind of astringent sweetness. But yeah, that was good stuff. Want to clean our spoons? Number 2, the one I think looks the most like tomato sauce.
Beets and sweets.
Beets and sweets. Beets and sweet potatoes. Ready for this, Ash?
Yeah. Tink.
Sweet potato-y.
It's earthier.
It's very earthy. You can taste the beet, sweet potato mixture. I think the first one's more tomato-y. Well, this one's also very pleasant. Ready for number 3?
Yeah, number 3.
The one I'm most excited for, the pumpkin one. Pumpkin and beets.
Beets and pumpkin.
It's very close. This one looks the most like tomato sauce. This one looks like a jar of pre-made tomato sauce or like a Lunchable tomato sauce.
Cheap tomato sauce.
It has that slightly off.
Tink.
I think that one's the closest. They're all really good.
Those are pretty close, yeah, honestly.
Tomato substitutes. I'm really proud of these. Best attempt.
Well, there's a few things I do want to mention about these here sauces.
Yeah, let's do some notes.
Um,
Make sure you're holding it high enough so they can see what you're talking about. So it's number 1, the sweet potato, or the bell peppers rather.
Well, just all of them in general, I do want to note that there's other things that you can replace. For example, if you're allergic to soy, you can use your soy alternative, your non-soy alternative, I should say.
Keep in mind, most soy sauces contain wheat. If you're trying to avoid wheat and you're new to like that wheat world, the majority of soy sauces contain wheat in them.
Which also means the majority of Asian-style foods have wheat in them, whether they have rice noodles or not.
Our brand we used is La Choy.
That one doesn't have any wheat in it.
No wheat. So that one is safe. In addition, there's some other umami things we can add. Parmesan cheese full of umami. It's great, especially if you're using like pasta sauce or like on pizza. It belongs there. You want to add that at the very end though. You don't want to like cook the Parmesan with the onions or stew it with the parsnips or carrots if you use carrots, which are orange and not white and would affect the color. Anything else you want to mention? I have one more thing I want to bring up.
Other sources of umami.
Sources of umami. So, my favorite source of umami is powdered mushrooms. You get like dehydrated mushrooms, like a coffee grinder, grind them up. It's like umami powder. It's great, it's flavorful, and unlike a mushroom base, which Ashlyn wanted to use, mushroom base, you need to consummate it in water. And also, I just have a weird thing with mushroom based. There's like this like taste to it. You can taste the base.
I didn't ever taste the base when I was using it. I used it in culinary school. I had a lovely teacher, lovely chef of mine who would help me like try to replicate flavors, and the thing we used was mushroom base.
Should we say his name?
Oh, I don't know.
Should we say it was Chef Justin, guys? Chef Justin, if you ever see this, we love you. A new friend of ours, we met at VidCon, Amy from Rabbit Food Fitness, suggested this tea to us. Boom. Tea. It is a loose leaf tea. It is, can you say these Asian-y words?
Goro Koro Kokyo.
It has a chemical, I believe, called levanin in it. Protein in it. That is what's in tomatoes that gives tomatoes their tomatoey flavor. Mm-hmm. So we tried steeping this tea and drinking it. And it tastes almost like a vegetable stock, but not very tomatoey. So we didn't use this. But it could be the wrong tea or the wrong thing. So if anyone knows about this stuff, and we're just doing it wrong, let us know. Because it'd be really cool if we had another way to make tomatoes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But as of now, tamarind paste is our best thing, our best replacement. So overall, I think my favorite is the pumpkin one. It is a bit earthier. It gets earthier the further down you go. But the texture of the pumpkin is the closest by far. Because pumpkin's kind of already that texture.
For me, they were all pretty good. Honestly, I liked them all.
They're all great.
Think pumpkin might be actually my least favorite.
Really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thought there? Why?
I think it's the earthiness.
Okay.
Like, I don't mind earthiness, but in this situation, I'd rather not have it so earthy.
That makes sense.
I think my favorite was this one. This is the beet and sweet potato one.
Beet and sweet potato. Which makes sense because you love sweet potatoes.
I do like sweet potatoes.
The beet and sweet.
This one does have a really good flavor, though, but its color is
They're all
ideal.
really good. This one is the least tomatoey, I feel. However, it's still delicious, and it's still pretty darn close. Well, there you have it. That's 3 ways to replace tomatoes. If you have an allergy and other allergies that conflict with allergies, this one is great, has nightshades. These 2 are nightshade free.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
We'll see you in the next recipe.
Bye-bye.